Elizabeth Sullivan.
The tortured souls cried out in agony as the flames mounted higher and higher. Burn, witch, burn, witch, burn, burn, burn. Those I've said, it is known today, the actual practice of witchcraft in 17th century New England.
All right. So welcome to Cinema Slaughter. I'm Omar Atiyah.
And I am Leonard the Man Buccellato.
Yes, you are. So it's a pleasure.
It is.
So, yeah, we watched a few movies, so we might talk about a few of them here. Well, look who's here, my son.
This guy.
It's in my jacket pocket. Take the dog with you.
Take my money, please.
Take my money.
Take your money? Gladly.
All the mad bullion.
Yes.
Mucho dinero.
Oh, so I know I mentioned this before. Where is it? Let's see. I have a bunch of these books I wanted to show off. And now I completely forgot where the heck I put them.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we're really flying by the seat of our pants. This is a real professional show we got here, folks.
It is. We run a tight program here, kids.
But we have fun, don't we?
Exactly.
Yeah. I guess we'll mention it another time, but maybe not. Maybe we'll do it now. So
do it now. Do it live.
I don't know if you can even see this.
No, I just see a half-naked woman.
A vampire, maybe? Oh,
Sort
man.
of,
It's tough.
yeah.
So this is a series of books by this small press, and they're awesome. It's called Sex and Horror. I went to a horror convention.
Favorite subjects.
Me too. Sex and horror. I'm obsessed with both of them. So this is right up my alley. So I was at a horror convention about 4 years ago, back when we could still meet in public with hundreds and hundreds of people and not have to worry about, getting sick or whatever.
Those days.
So a buddy of mine, we saw these books out there, and he actually bought me volume 2. I didn't see volume 1 out on the floor, on the table rather. And so I got volume 2, and then I was like, well, I'm obsessed with this now. The artwork is lurid, and it's amazingly well done. So these were printed by these Italian illustrators in the 60s and 70s.
Oh, those crazy Italians.
Yes. And so the first one I think was Emanuele Taglietti. I think that's his last name. And the other one was Alessandro Bifagnandi, was the first 2 volumes. So I got volume 1 because I really loved volume 2 so much. And then it blew up and became super hard to get, where I think volume 1 or volume 2, you could pick it up for like $35, and then they went crazy because they sold out, and people fell in love with these. They're a compilation. It shows you all of these different artworks. It tells you what magazines they were first published in and when, and it's now like going for $350.
Oh, damn. How much you got it for?
I got it for like $32 on Amazon.
Oh, wow. That's quite an investment.
Yeah, it was awesome. And I always like when stuff like that, like when it comes to records too, I picked up, because I'm a Lord of the Rings fanatic, not just movie wise, but that too. But I'm obsessed with the books and everything and the mythology of it. So because I love records, I picked up, the Lord of the Rings box sets that they released 4 years ago or 3 years ago. And they released all 3 of the movie soundtracks, and each box set, it's amazing. It looks like a book, but obviously oversized. They have, each one comes with a section of the Middle Earth map. So all 3 volumes, and each one has a different color. So the Fellowship is red, then one is blue, and one is green. And box set has 5 LPs in it. And the Fellowship of the Ring blew up. So I paid like $90 or $95 for the first one, and now it's
Yeah.
going for $1,200.
Oh wow.
It's
That's like
crazy expensive.
that's some serious that's some crypto stuff going on there, man. That's more than Bitcoin.
Yeah. So
Wow.
I love it when stuff like that happens. And I don't really collect most of these things to sell them. The few comic
Yeah.
books that I have, maybe I would sell them down the road. But so for the most part, I just like having these things. But when I saw them at this horror convention, I was like, oh man, I need this. And so they
Yeah.
just released volume 4, and
Mm-hmm.
it's oh man, I wish I could this room is probably cluttered with all my stuff, but if I turn off my backdrop, you would be able to see it, but maybe another time. Um
Yeah.
anyway, so it's Sex and Horror. You can get them online on Amazon right now, cover price for most of them. I think they did a repress of volume 2. But I highly recommend you checking them out. They're really cool. You know, when we get a chance, Omar, I'll FaceTime you and I'll flip through some of these books. You'll really appreciate them.
Yeah,
But
definitely,
for
man.
anyone who loves artwork and loves the subject matter of sex and horror, you'll see these lurid, illustrations of women in distress, being chased by monsters or maniacs. They're just really cool, and some of them is like
And
bikers, and it's like typical sci-fi and genre moments. Some of the women themselves aren't the damsels in distress. They're the villain as well, but they're just really cool the way it's done. There's a lot of
mm,
BD and S&M and stuff like that, so I'm sure it'll piss people off, which is great for me. Anytime you get a chance to enjoy artwork and use your middle finger to the crowds, it's always a fun time. Anyway,
exactly.
so yeah,
Hmm.
check it out. Sex and Horror Volume 4 is the newest volume that just came out, but I think everybody would really enjoy this.
Are
So
the
that's
pages
that.
extra glossy?
They are, and you can wipe them off easily with a paper towel, if you know what I'm saying.
That's important, yeah.
Yeah,
Because
especially
the
for you.
tears, yeah, the tears.
Oh man.
Indeed.
Anyway, so
Anywho,
we are pleasantly surprised at this recent movie that popped up, and when I saw it online, I was like, Omar, you got to check this out. Or maybe you saw it and you told me I had to check it out.
no,
Whatever the case may be.
I did see it a while ago, like the trailer, but then when you said let's cover it, I was like, all right, I remember that, and
Yeah.
like at first I was kind of like, I'm not that, but then upon viewing, I was like, you know what, I actually enjoyed this a lot.
I did too. And the director, what's his name? Carnahan? Joe Carnahan. He
Yeah.
did The Gray with
Hmm.
Liam Nielsen. Is that who it is? No.
Neeson, was it?
Yeah, Liam Neeson. I'm sorry, a brain fart.
Oh, sorry.
So
Oh, sorry.
yeah, The Gray,
Is
and he
that the one with
did
the wolves?
yes.
I never saw it. I saw the trailer though.
Oh yeah, I liked it. I thought it was cool. It wasn't like
Hmm.
the greatest, but it was fun. I
Yeah.
liked it. So
Yeah.
but he did a bunch of movies, and The Gray was probably, I think he did Smoking Aces. He did the A-Team movie that came out a few years back,
Yeah.
which
You know.
throwaway films, but this one
Yeah.
is probably the least throwaway of the movies that he's directed. Um Frank Grillo, I'm not sure. He's
Yeah.
the kind of guy who's in a ton of movies,
Hmm.
and you probably don't really know him by name, but you recognize him. You'll see his face. This guy he's in his 50s. He's ripped to shit. This guy, he looks like he's
Yeah,
like
dude.
a guy half
It's
his age.
ridiculous.
He's
Exactly.
insane.
It's ridiculous. Like I was looking at him, like I think I'd like literally just kill an entire family to have a build like that. I mean, it's ridiculous.
I know.
It's ridiculous. I'm like, it's just unfair, man.
Yeah, well, some people are
But
just got natural talents. Well, this guy, Frank
yeah,
Grillo, I mean, he's been in The Purge, Anarchy, Captain America, Winter Soldier, The
Yeah.
Gray. I mean, he's been in a bunch of Marvel movies that I can look through now, but yeah, he's been in a bunch of stuff. Zero Dark 30, End of Watch, The Gray. I'm trying to see what else he was. He was in the Mother's Day movie. Um, and he's been on TV shows, Law and Order, Special Victims Unit, Blue Blood,
Yeah.
CSI New York. So the guy has done a ton of work. He's a native New Yorker, and so this guy Frank Grillo, he plays this character in this movie Boss Level. And let me give you the description. And it's pretty bare bones. A retired special forces officer is trapped in a never-ending time loop on the day of his death. And that's the IMDb description of this film.
Oh, that's it.
And that's it. And
Yeah.
it's a simple premise similar to it's Groundhog's Day, but
Groundhog Day, minus the paramilitary, whatever.
there's a lot of violence in this movie, but it's really, he's playing this character that's, trapped in a loop. And
Yep.
his ex-wife is a scientist, and she's the one who puts him in the loop because she realizes that, she's in danger and their kids in danger. And, so he is this kind of guy who's, too busy to do he's doing other things. He's hanging out with his friends. He was in the military, like I said, he's special forces. And so he's fucked up his relationships, and he's kind of not necessarily a deadbeat dad, but he's trying to get back into his ex's graces, and he's trying to figure out how he can become a better dad. And when this happens, he meets with his ex-wife, and they're talking at the lab that she works in, and he realizes there's something fishy going on with the bodyguard here. I forget what's
Yeah.
what's the actor's name who played that guy?
Oh, Will Sasso,
Will
who,
Sasso.
man, as soon as I saw him, I'm like, I literally for a second thought, I'm like, damn, it looks like Alex Jones. Like, yeah, it was just weird, man.
Alex Jones. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I try not to mention that guy's name. But Will
Uh,
Sasso, of all people, plays a bad guy in this, and he does a pretty damn good job. And
yeah.
Naomi Watts is the wife, and Mel Gibson, of all people, plays Colonel Clive Venter, who's the heavy. He's the bad, the main
Yeah.
boss.
Yeah. This is like an
And
all-star cast, man.
it
I
really
mean,
was. There's a
it's
ton of
yeah.
people
Yeah.
in this that Michelle Yeoh is in this. Let me
Michelle
see
Yeoh,
if I can
exactly.
see if I can see if anybody else has a big name in this. But you know what? A lot of the people in here are like, oh, that guy or her.
Yep.
There was an all-star cast of kind of like second place actors, but they all did a great job. It was a lot of fun. And I'm sorry if this is like in my face, but I'm trying to bring my mic up because it's been recording poorly lately. So anyway, I digress.
Well, the less they see of our faces, the better,
Well, that's
for the
true. We
health
have
of
a
the
face for
audience,
radio, right? So maybe that's a
Exactly.
good thing.
Hmm.
So yeah, so there's a ton of action in this, and like any good ripoff of that premise of reliving the same day again and again,
Hmm.
you start off where you really are trying to get through this day and beat the odds that are stacked against you, in the hopes that you know at one point or in this timeline you're going to find the secret sauce and make it through. You're going to fight through and get to the next day, and then at some point the ennui of of the situation of reliving this day again and again, it becomes weary, and it weighs on you until that epiphany happens. You have that moment of clarity where you realize I'm gonna beat this. I'm gonna beat the odds. I'm gonna get to the end of this boss level. I'm gonna beat the boss and move up.
And
So
it's like in this movie, actually, he introduces it because he's already stuck in the cycle. He's been living through it, 100 times or whatever, and keeps repeating himself. All these assassins coming to get him, and he says he just can't get past a certain level, so it's a whole play on video games, which I guess was sort of maybe done with what was that Tom Cruise movie, Edge of was it Edge of
Oh,
something,
yeah.
uh, but it also had like a bit of a gamer type thing. But here I think they play it even more because his son is into video games, and so
There's a
they,
heavy
they
heavy
play that.
nod to, like, old school
Yeah,
gaming, 8-bit
exactly.
gaming.
Yep.
But
Yep.
yeah, so the kid is really on point when it comes to, he's at a gaming convention, so that
Hmm.
there's a nod to the gaming quality of this, but it does start off in media res, and so it's in the middle of, him already weary from, day
Yeah.
40 or whatever it is, that he's just
Right.
like, I'm living this again and again. And so he's got to beat, a guy with a hatchet trying to kill him, this girl that he's in bed with, she takes off, and that later on will come back where he realizes that she was a plant, and she was the
Right.
one who kind of put the bug. He's got a tracking device, that's how they know where he
Yes.
is. So slowly but surely he overcomes a lot of the things, the cards again are stacked against him. So I really enjoyed this
Yep.
movie. I thought
Yeah.
the everything about it was fun. I mean, I'm already a sucker for, Groundhog's Day. I love that
Oh
movie.
yeah. It's
um
classic.
yeah, Bill Murray is genius in that, and it's a
Yeah.
fun movie, but I love the premise of it as well. And when it's
Right.
done in a great way, and it gives you characters that you really want to see succeed, it
Right.
puts you in a good spot to have great fun. I mean, let's face it, it's not an Academy Award winning film. But
No.
that's not why you're watching this movie. You're watching it because it's an action movie. It's got sci-fi elements. There's a lot of martial arts in this, although a little heavy-handed in terms, like we discussed, where, if you have an automatic weapon and that person is running across the room at you, that person with the sword in their hand running at you doesn't really stand a chance.
I know. I don't care how athletic they are. I don't care how great a swordsman they are. They're not gonna live. It ain't
They're not
happening.
living. They're not. It's
Exactly.
not going to happen.
And
But
this guy himself is an expert in, I mean, he's a military guy. Grillo's character is a military guy, and
he
he
is.
can't hone in on a target and shoot her, and she's jumping off walls. That ain't gonna stop no bullets. So,
Well, I
but
think they're
regardless,
trying to show her skills as a
right?
a sword fighter. They're trying to say, like,
Yeah,
she's so fucking amazing that
yeah,
this
yeah,
special
yeah.
forces guy can't even hit her.
Right, right, right.
Which, I get the conceit, but it's
Yeah,
really just heavy handed and kind of corny.
yeah.
Um,
But altogether, I mean, the nature of the movie is just these exaggerated, action sequences, and they're driving around doing crazy things with cars, and
There's a
so
helicopter. He
yeah,
leaps off
yeah,
of his balcony and lands on the forks of the helicopter, and then flips
right, right,
in, kills the guy with the M60, and
yeah,
then and takes the helicopter for a ride. It was
yeah. I
there's
mean,
a
it's
little
crazy, yeah,
yeah,
but
but
it's just fun. You take it in. I mean, that this is that type of movie,
yeah,
and I was fine with it, it's funny because there are some movies that I don't I can't let it go, like where it just gets too crazy. But this one, I don't know. There's something about the certain execution of movies where that sense of unrealism, if you will, is acceptable, but in other movies it's not. And I'm still trying to figure out why. You know?
I agree with you. There are times where, like, we can see a movie and we're unforgiving when it comes to certain elements, and you just like, what, they really fucked this up, and you but then there are those moments in time, like a movie like this, where there's so many things that you could poke holes in with
Right.
this movie itself, but it's just executed in such a way, and it has such great acting in it too, where, you know for what they're doing, the characters are fun, and you want to see,
Yes.
you want to see Roy succeed. You want to see him get with his son, because he's trying to be a good dad. And so movies like that pull at your heartstrings. For me too, because I'm
Right.
that kind of dad. I'm a softie. So I think it has those elements where you feel like, hey, Roy got a bum deal over here, and you want to see him pull it out, like against all odds. There's like 40 assassins coming after him,
Right.
and it's just like wave after wave after wave. But it manages to to kind of keep its tongue firmly planted in its cheek, and does it where the action is so much fun that you just can't wait. Like, it's like, oh man, I wish they would have a sequel on this, just to see
Yeah.
what happens, because the ending itself lends itself to a sequel.
Right. Which I
um
kind of I mean, it would require a lot of work, in my opinion, for it to be a really good sequel. Um, I kind of like it as a standalone movie, but
oh yeah,
if
I do too.
if they can pull it off, then by all means, I'm
Yeah.
open to sometimes that it works where they're just able to put the hard work and have a great script, and everything works, where you have an excellent sequel, and that does
Yeah.
happen sometimes.
Yeah, no,
um,
absolutely. But yeah, I
yeah,
think you're right. I mean, even though just because they can doesn't mean they should.
right.
Um, but like I said, the acting was really. I thought they all held their own, and for what this movie was worth, it's a solid watch. I say go ahead and check it out immediately. I give it a 4 out of 5. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I give it the same, 4 out of 5. I thought it is just a really enjoyable kind of popcorn flick type of movie. If we had different circumstances, we'd go see it in the movie theater.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Definitely
This
a
is one I would
popcorn.
want to see.
Absolutely, just a very fun movie. And it's good because like the writing is good because they focus in on a lot of the family, with that he's such a crappy father, but he's looking to redeem himself, and
Hmm.
not that it's stuff that's been done before, but it's still
It,
done
it,
very well in a
it's
fun way.
it's not going to get any points for originality.
Exactly,
But
exactly,
that's really not what it's. I mean, it wears its influences on its sleeve. It's
absolutely.
it does what it's shooting for. It gets right and does it 100%. Like, you're all in on this, and
Right.
like, there's no stopping the characters. Even the villains have these oddball personalities that make them fun. Like,
Yes.
one of these villains has a pistol that's so fancy, it's an automatic, right? And then he takes the pistol out of her hand, and takes a look at it, because she spent like $500,000 on this pistol.
Yeah, yeah, it's
And so
absurd
he's
amount
like,
of
"What
money.
the fuck?" He's like, "Why would you spend that much money?" She's like, so he takes the pistol, and in the hand grip of this pistol,
Engraved,
engraved
yeah.
in this mother of pearl handle, is the name Hitler. And he's like, "Hitler? What the fuck?" She's like, "Yeah, it was Adolf Hitler's pistol." And she had it tweaked and put the silencer on it and everything else. So she spent like $500,000, like just an ungodly amount of money. And he ends up killing her with it, which is just perfect.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
And then just like tosses it away, because like, who the fuck would want Hitler's pistol, you know? But it was just funny
E-
how he does it.
exactly. And it's stuff like that. It's those little details like that. Like you didn't have to throw in a scene like that, but it's details like that are kind of fun and crazy, and
Yeah,
that
or
this, yeah.
he realizes that he goes to the dentist, and the dental hygienist throws herself at him, and you find out in all these scenes, because they're replaying back, again and again and again. And then he talks about, before the day that he was reliving, he meets up with this hygienist, and that's when he realizes, holy shit, they put an implant, that's where the tracker is. And so he's in
Hmm.
the bathroom, and he's tearing fucking teeth out of his mouth to try and get to the
Try to
tracker.
find the right one.
Right.
Right.
but he realizes he's gonna relive this day again, so he's
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
have
yeah,
to do
yeah.
it. So eventually he
Yep.
finds the right one and pulls that one out, you know. But it's like all
Yeah.
of these, like how he learns how to become a really like a master swordsmith. He's like he relives
Yeah.
like 60 days or whatever the hell it was, and you know each
Of
day he
training.
learns a little
Yep.
bit
Yep.
more, you know. So he like trains for 8 hours, but you know times 60 days, and he becomes this badass, you know, sword fighter, and that's how he's
Right.
able to defeat this, you know, the assassin with the sword on it. I forget her
Right.
name, but she's like she cuts his head off at every turn, and she's like, "I am so and so. I have done this," you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
every
Yeah.
time she
Yeah.
cuts his head off, and I'm like, and then he gets her with it, and he says, "I am Roy, and Roy has done this," and he finally kills her.
Yeah.
But it's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's weird to see um what's his name? Mel Gibson in a movie where he's no longer in top, you know, top billing. And
Right.
he's done this in a few films recently, but I think sometimes with him less is more because
Right.
he's
Definitely.
fun in these roles. But if he was like the main character in this movie, I don't know. I don't think
It
you
wouldn't
could
have
be
worked.
able to, it wouldn't have
Yeah.
worked. And plus,
Yeah.
he's getting older now too, so you know you got to kind of
Yeah, with
put
all the
that off to the
action
side.
sequences. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's
Yeah,
not going to work. Grillo, he's in his 50s, but the guy looks great. I mean, he looks
yeah.
10 years younger than
He's 56, but
than
the
he is.
guy's got the build of a 30-year-old.
I know it's ridiculous, and
He's
so
jacked.
yeah, he's definitely able to pull it off.
He does
And
pull it off. He is
yeah,
believable,
yeah,
and I'm sure he's done like tons of
absolutely,
stunt work and stuff like that where I feel like, you know,
yeah,
this guy is at home doing the
yep,
things that he's doing, and I'm sure he did most of his stunts too.
yeah, I'm sure, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely,
No, he was really good. And you know, now I'm like, oh well, I gotta go back to some of these other movies and see what he's done before, you know. And but it's funny because I forget where I was watching TV or something, and it was a cop drama, and Grillo's in it, and I'm like, holy Christ, what movie is this? It was uh and just out of left field. So I'll check and I'll let you know what movie it was. But yeah,
okay,
I'm excited about this movie because I'd like to see more of these types of movies, not necessarily, you know, with this premise, but you know, more of this over the top action and sci-fi together in you know in one. Um, definitely solid. I'm into it. So
definitely, yeah.
you
Again,
know,
as long as the execution is good, I'm all for it. Ideas, obviously it's not the most original idea, but it was executed really well, in my opinion.
mhm,
Just fun. Again, like you said, wears its influence on its sleeve, and I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
definitely. So anyway, that's it. It's just we wanted to talk about that. You have anything else you want to bring up?
No, no, I think we're good. I mean, for now, until we
We got
come
some
up
other stuff in the
something new.
works. We have a
Yeah.
friend of ours that we her name is Tina, the Dark Queen. She's on Instagram, and we're looking forward to having her on the show very soon and interviewing her. Her artwork is just
Awesome.
incredible. She's
Absolutely awesome.
she's got a really cool vibe about her. There's her work that she does is like she takes her photography very seriously and then photoshops these scenes of just like atmospheric. They're very creepy with a dark feminist aspect to it, and she really just nails the subject matter time and time again. Um,
Yeah.
so just you know very intense and very
uh,
dark and
And
so
polished, very polished, like
yeah,
very
and
professional. Yeah.
she is amazing. So
Yeah.
we hope to have her on soon. And yeah, she's really, really cool, very talented. And so keep an eye and ear open for that. So we look forward to you know giving her a big shout out and getting some traffic to her site because I think more and more people need to recognize her for you know the talent that she is.
Definitely. Absolutely.
So, all right, guys, this is another episode of Cinema Slaughter in the can, and well, not necessarily in the can, but I mean, if you like it that
Okay.
like that in the can, you know,
Some people are into that.
That's fine. I mean, I'm not
We
I'm
gotta
not
be, we
adverse
gotta
to
be respectful. We gotta be
throwing it in the
respectful.
can.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Yeah, folks.
anyway,
Yeah,
that's all she wrote. Have a good one.
that is. Deuces.
Peace out.